Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome back to another edition of the Elizabeth Coalition to House the Homeless's Facebook Live chat. My name is Renee Smith, and I'm the Director of Development at the Coalition, and I will be your moderator for this afternoon's programming. If this is your first time joining us, just a little bit about the Elizabeth Coalition. We serve the homeless and the near homeless in Union County, New Jersey. We provide housing assistance in the form of rental assistance, transitional housing, permanent housing, and emergency shelter. We also have a children's program where we provide afternoon tutoring and summertime enrichment. Just so you know, if you or anyone is in need of housing assistance, please visit our website at theelizabethcoalition.org. Again, that's www.theelizabethcoalition.org. Or if you would like to support our mission, please, with a monthly donation, please visit our website at www.theelizabethcoalition.org. So today, we have an awesome lineup of panelists for you. And our first panelist for this afternoon is Mr. Manny Grover, and he's a councilman at large for the city of Elizabeth. Welcome, Manny.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a councilman here in the city of Elizabeth. Councilman at large means that I represent the whole city. And I have been a big supporter of the coalition for many years. And I'm also an attorney. So my law firm has decided to choose the coalition as our monthly site to make our volunteer and donation site. So we're going to be working closely with the coalition this month.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Our second panelist for this afternoon is Miss Valeria Gomez, and she's a student and a member of Make the Road New Jersey. Welcome, Valeria.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Valeria Gomez. I'm a rising junior at King University and a YPP member at Make the Road New Jersey. Make the Road New Jersey is a nonprofit organization that advocates for immigrant rights and the working class families. Our members at Make the Road New Jersey recently won driver's licenses, and today we also won occupational licenses for all. So yay!
Excellent. And last but not least, we have Ms. Maria Matos, and she's a partnership specialist at the U.S. Census Bureau. Welcome, Maria. Oh, 1 second, Maria. I think you're muted still.
There you go.
There you go. Excellent.
Thank you so much. My name is Maria. I'm a partnership specialist for the U.S. Census Bureau in the New York region.
Excellent. Thank you. So we just want to thank you all for being a part of the our panel discussion today. And this week is Census Push Week. And we hope this live broadcast drives those that are listening and those that they know to the census website to be counted in the census. Our discussion today will be about 2020 census and the immigrant community specifically. The immigrant community is made up of many different cultures and languages, and it's very important that this community is counted in the 2020 census and well represented for the next 10 years. As we know, the census only comes around 10 years, so if we don't get counted now, we're going to have to wait until 2030. So we know that there are many fears about filling out the census because of legal status of many individuals within the community. But please remember that your information is completely confidential and protected by law. And just so you know, for those who are interested, if you haven't gone to the census, please visit my2020census.gov. You can also go online, use the phone numbers that are scrolling on the screen. And if you receive a census documentation in the mail, please fill out that paperwork and send it in. It is very important. And before we officially start, I want to give you, those that are listening, a friendly reminder to submit your questions and concerns in the comment section of the live so we can answer them and also give you a shout out. We also have one of our, giveaway bags or a swag bag. And one of our listeners from last week, Miss Renee Belgrave Joseph, was the winner of our swag bag. So we want to say congratulations. If you have filled out the census, I filled out the census in the chat, in the comment section, and we'll be sure to get you a bag in the very near future. We'll send it to you somehow. All right. Thank you, Miss Renee Belgrave Joseph. All right. So let's get started. And we just want to just start with you, Manny, if you don't mind. The city of Elizabeth has a large immigrant community comprised of Latinos, Haitian, and Portuguese, just to name a few. And from your experience as a government official, what would be at stake if these communities are not counted accurately?
Well, our city, first of all, I want to thank Valeria for all her help. I was part of the initial effort to get driver's license for the undocumented about 3 years ago, and we've been fighting that fight, and we finally got it done. So I want to thank Make the Road New Jersey for all you guys do. In Elizabeth, we have 160,000 population, and we all know that that number is not fully accurate. And unfortunately, if the folks, immigrants, do not fill out their census, our number will be even less counted. And so the city of Elizabeth, which is the biggest city in the county of Union, we're the fourth largest city in population in the state of New Jersey. We have a lot of programs in our city that require federal and state funding, including the Coalition to House the Homeless. And so we've got to make sure that everyone out there fills out their census. And legally, you can do it, even though you may not think, because you may not be here as a legal resident, you might be afraid. But it's important that everyone gets counted. And so with that, we'll bring more funding and hopefully help communities like the Coalition and Make the Road New Jersey.
Yes, thank you. And Manny mentioned Valeria, a part of the program that you're a part of. Can you discuss your role with Make the Road New Jersey and how you became to be a part of that organization?
Sure. So Make the Road New Jersey is basically like a movement organization. We've been hosting like census workshops throughout the month, well, every single month since. And my role, I found out about Make the Road New Jersey in 2017 because I was going into my senior year of college as one of the first college ambassadors, and this program was on its first year, and it focused on helping teenagers like myself understand like the college application. So every week we had a day where we would get together and we would learn everything from like filling out documents for like our tag award and like writing college essays. They also offered workshops like Know Your Rights. So I would stay for those, and I was like really intrigued in like learning everything, and meetings to see ways like we could in which we could help our community. And Make the Road New Jersey was and still is a very powerful organization that like I'm really proud to be part of. And again, like the fight for driver's licenses started before I began in Make the Road New Jersey. It's been like a really long process, but it is a very meaningful and symbolic campaign for our members because it reminds us just how strong the people are.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we want to give a shout out to Nadia. She just said hi, so welcome for joining us, Nadia. And we actually have a fourth panelist, and he's joining us, and this is Mr. Woody Philippe, and I hope I said that correctly. And he's the executive director at Family Success Center. Welcome, Woody. If you could just say a little bit about yourself. Oh, he's muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Hi, how are you? Hello, everyone. This is Woody Philippe from Jefferson Park Ministries, Inc., and I am the executive director of Jefferson Park Ministries, Inc. And I've been in the community since 1994. I've been working with Miss Catherine, and Jefferson Park Ministries has been around since 1992. And the mission is to help immigrant and family to survive and understanding the system here in America.
Okay, and while we have you up, can you just give us a little bit of information about some of the programs that Jefferson Park Ministries offers?
Yes, Jefferson Park Ministries have several programs to help families. Number one, we have the Village Family Success Center, which is focused on helping families, strengthening and bonding families. We have ESL classes for free. Currently, with an offering, we're only doing it via Zoom. We also have computer class. We have counseling classes as well, activities for families. And we have a foster grandparent program for seniors age 55 and older. We have food pantry that we have twice a month. We also have an after school program, and we do immigration services as well. Those are some of the services that we provide to the community.
That's a very long list. Thank you for your service. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, Maria, how has the Census Bureau conducted outreach to the immigrant community to ensure a higher response rate than that of the 2020 census? And why should immigrants participate in the census?
Well, we have been doing a great, huge campaign, not only in New York and New Jersey, but nationwide, to connect with those pockets of hard to count communities, to explain to them the importance about answering the 2020 census. And it's about more than $675 billion. And the data collected, from the census is used to allocate, that money for funds every year to every state. And it's very important that they understand that all that money goes for services like after-school programs, hospitals, infrastructure, transportation. And we don't want to lose also representation. We want to have a fair representation. It's about also redistricting. So it's extremely important that we all answer the census. It's once every 10 years, so we have only one shot until 2030. But the funds are distributed every year. So we don't want to leave anybody. I always say, one of the most important things is for people to understand that children should be counted. In 2010, children were not counted properly, not because we didn't want to, but because people thought, oh, it's just a baby. It's not important. It is important. That's why I have this poster in the back here. It says, kiss them and count them then.
Okay. Yes, excellent. So what are some of the benefits that the immigrant community brings to the city of Elizabeth? And I guess this would be for Manny. And why is it important to the city to count all residents?
Well, our city, we have one big regional hospital, which is Trinitas Hospital. And we service a lot of the folks in the city and around the perimeter of our city. Obviously, during this whole COVID pandemic, Trinitas Hospital was very, very busy. And they end up relying sometimes on private donations because there's just not enough funds to support the programs that they run in that hospital. So if we could make sure that the Elizabeth numbers are justifying the federal and state government to give us more funding for our hospital, that would be great. I know that there are folks watching that speak Spanish and Portuguese and other languages, Haitian. So I just want to say en español, yo quiero que la gente entiende que el censo es muy importante, especialmente quien vive en Elizabeth, porque nosotros tenemos 160,000 personas, pero si la gente no se inscribe en el census, vamos a perder muchos fondos que vienen del Estado y del gobierno federal. Tenemos 160,000 personas, pero si nosotros reportamos 80 o 100, perdemos 60,000 de percentajes que vienen para nosotros. So it's very important, not only for the hospital, we also have a big fire department, a police department. We have various programs in our city, recreation, and all of this is justified in getting more funding from the state and federal government, low-income housing. But we need all that money, so necesitamos que todos se inscriben. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted to add that it's that was great. The data that the census provides, it's used for emergency responses. So not only for after-school programs, but in emergency, especially now that we're having this pandemic, it's very important that everyone answer the census.
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's we only get one shot at this, and one of the things as immigrants, like we started off with, it's your everybody counts, and it's you're safe. It's you're protected by law. So please fill out the census, no matter what your status is. And
Renee, I just want to make one more point. I'm sorry, Renee,
just
but
go.
our immigrant community, all they think about is going to work and providing for their family. And sometimes their jobs require 12 hours a day, but they have to take that 20 minutes. It
Yes.
really doesn't take much more than 10 to 20 minutes to fill this thing out. And they don't realize that 10 or 20 minutes that they're going to spend filling out the census is going to have such a great impact on their family, on their children over the next 10 years. And it's not all about just going to work and coming home. We also got to worry about our kids and our future in this city.
Yes. And we had a comment here, and I think you may have just answered it. Is the census only for citizens, and what about undocumented people? I think we just answered that question, that it's not only for citizens, it's for everyone. Everyone gets counted, from the smallest or the youngest, from the babies to the seniors. Everyone needs to get counted, because it's important.
We-
Um, yes,
We
go
wa-
ahead.
We want to count everyone once, only once, and in the right place. And the census is a counting of every person who resides in the USA and territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, Mariana Islands. We want to count everybody. And also, every single employee of the U.S. Census Bureau, we take an oath for life. So if tomorrow I work for another agency, I'm still accountable, for the information that I take. It's confidential, and we don't reveal any data, any information, personal information, because we will be in prison for minimum 5 years, and there's a fine of $250,000. Also, the Census Bureau has a federal law, Code Title 13, that protects your information. We do not reveal information to any law enforcement agency like immigration, CIA, FBI, police department. We don't. We just don't.
Thank you for that. And this is coming directly from someone who works at the Census Bureau. So she's telling you that she's keeping you. If she comes and knocks on your door, well, we're not knocking on doors now, but if anyone from the Census Bureau connects with you and gets your information, that information is secure. So please, as an immigrant, please fill out the documentation. And just going off of that, Valeria, how has your DACA, and if you could just tell people what DACA is, how has your DACA status helped you personally? And can you just explain a little bit how the census impacts grants and federal aid available to DACA recipients?
Yeah, sure. So DACA is known as Deferred Action of Childhood Arrivals, which means that because I got here, well, personally, I got here at the age of 5, and before 2007, I am allowed to apply to this program, which allows me to have a social to work, my driver's license, and it also allows me to apply to a tag award, but so can other immigrants, right? Without the necessity of having DACA. So, like I said before, I'm an incoming junior at King University. So because of this tag money, if I hadn't received it, I wouldn't be able to transfer over so easily. Access to that money became available to me after we fought and we won for expanded access to financial aid in 2018. So that money wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for our communities filling out the census, right? That helps a lot. The award we receive from the state to go to college is calculated by the population as determined by the census. So with this said, it's easy to understand that the more we are undercounted in the communities, the less money we'll receive. And it's not just for, I guess, grants, but also for schools, roads, right, hospitals. And I wanted to also talk about how like it kind of ties up together, because if you think about it, there's a pothole in the road, right? And I'm driving to school, and that pothole breaks my car down. Now I need to pay for my car, and I now have less money to pay for my school. And even though I was awarded this this grant, sometimes it's not enough, and I'm gonna have to choose between my transportation or my school. So yeah, that's the way it kind of just all connects together with the census. Um, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. Woody, just in terms of your organization, because you also serve the Haitian community, and I think you serve the Haitian community primarily, but it also serves many other at-risk populations like Latinos and African Americans. What are the main reasons the immigrant community should be counted accurately?
Well, besides what the other panelists already mentioned, one of the main reasons I strongly believe they should be counted when it comes for health costs. And we know a lot of immigrants, they are struggling with medical expenses, or trying to get medications, or whether attending a doctor because they do not have the money. And by counted, it also helped to increase the number of people that need health care here in the state. So we're always telling the people, it's not only just a number when you do the census, it's also helping in different aspects. When you cannot get Medicaid or you cannot get food stamp, it also impacts. So it is very important for them to fill out the census. So that's one of the key points that in my community that is very crucial to them. So I use it as a tool to encourage them to see the importance for them to fill out the census.
Yes. And even now during this time of COVID, we see the disparities with healthcare, with Black and Brown communities not having what they need to be sufficiently the medication or the services that they need, medical services that they need. Um, the and just going along those lines, Maria, and we're not trying to politicize this whole process, but we want to, in the president's memo this past week, it aimed to omit undocumented immigrants from being included in the census in terms of deciding how many members of Congress are assigned to each state. How has the U.S. Census responded to this memo to alleviate the fears of the immigrant community?
Well, at the moment, the Census Bureau, we don't have a further comment in regards to the reports of the, the media. However, we just want to make sure everybody understands that the census is mandated by the Constitution. And it is our civic duty for everyone, regardless of legal status, to answer the once every 10 years census for the U.S. Census Bureau, because it helps all the communities in the U.S. and territories.
Yes. And again, just to, we have the numbers, the phone numbers scrolling across the screen for those individuals who need that number to make that phone call. But you can also go online to visit my2020census.gov to fill out the census. Or if you receive that paper in the mail, please fill it out and send it in. It is very, very important at this time, more so now than ever before. And Valeria, I think she just froze. Okay. Make the Road New Jersey fought for years for New Jersey licensing for the undocumented, and just like Daca, it became another win in immigrant rights. Can you tell us how your organization has advocated for the immigrant community and what resources are available in the community through the census?
Right. So what we do as Make the Road, which again, like I said before, it's like a movement organization. We host a leadership school for our members, and as part of their final project, some of our member leaders even create like an outreach plan around educating their own communities. We're a part of a city and statewide census count coalition, and we're also working to have census takers at every single one of our in-person actions. And then moving more towards what we've done right now, like pre-COVID and during COVID, to have people like informed with the census and like just in like letting them know how important it is. So some of the things that we've done pre-COVID has been we've trained like census ambassadors. We've done public forums, and we also did weekly workshops. But during COVID, because it is a little bit harder to do in-person things, we've had countless census live streams like on Facebook, on Instagram. We even created a TikTok to try to reach out to younger kids, to children, adults, youth. We've sent out hustle blasts, and we set up a viral kiosk open twice a week for assistance. And it's also easy to understand, like the immigrant community is scared to fill out the census because, again, they think the information's going out. But we're kind of here together, all of us, to like reassure that that's not going to happen. Like Maria stated, right? Title 13 says, okay, you have to take an oath, and you cannot like go against it because you will go to prison and there will be a fine. So I think it's very important for the people to understand that it is safe. And like personally, we didn't fill it out 10 years ago, and we did now because we understand how important it is to have this filled out and to know that we're funding for absolutely everything. And the fact that Donald Trump also said that he wanted to add again the citizenship question. I know he can't, and right, because we all know he can't, but also we also need to like know that like we're safe, right? We know he can't, and we're here to let the people know that it's okay.
Okay, thank you. And we just got a question, Maria, and I'm going to point this one to you. The question is, what if someone can find that the paper that came in the mail? Can they still participate? Because I know that each person's assigned that particular code. So can you?
Yes, absolutely. Even when you receive your initial invitation, you had a code, like an ID code, or in the questionnaire. But if you don't have one, you just go to 2020census.gov, you click respond, and there you put your address. Or even if you have your code, it happened to me, and I put my code, it didn't work out, I put my address, no problem. And it took me 5 minutes. I wanted to say a few things in Spanish for the immigrant community. That probably I said it before. Es muy importante que todos contestemos el censo. El censo es para todas las personas que vivimos en los Estados Unidos y territorios como Puerto Rico, Guam, Islas Vírgenes, Islas Marianas. No, el censo del 2020 no te pregunta tu estatus legal, no te pregunta si eres ciudadano. Solamente te pregunta tu nombre, tu dirección, tu número de teléfono, tu edad, tu sexo, las personas que viven contigo en el 1 de abril del 2020. Debemos contar los niños, muy importante, porque la data del censo se utiliza para proveer la cantidad de fondos adecuados para cada estado, para servicios como Medicaid, Medicare, hospitales, transportación, las escuelas, y sobre todo en este momento de la pandemia, la data del censo puede ser muy importante para respuestas de emergencias, también desastres naturales, no sabemos, huracanes, o sea, en las áreas, cuántas personas hay en ciertas áreas para saber cuántas personas se envían a rescatar personas. Es muy, muy importante. Y finalmente, tenemos el código título 13 que protege tu información. El censo no tiene esta ley federal que no da tu información, se protege tu información y no se la da ni a inmigración, ni al FBI, ni al CIA, ni a la policía. Y cada empleado del censo hace un juramento de por vida. Si tratamos de hacer eso y quebrantar esta ley, este juramento, nos vamos a prisión por mínimo 5 años y hay una multa de $250,000. Thank you. Gracias.
Thank you, Maria. And I just want to have a quick question. Is the census, and Barb says thank you, and welcome Barb Bell. Is the census mailing the questionnaires again? Will they be doing that?
We continuously, I answer and I receive in my mailbox continuous, friendly reminders and invitations and envelopes. So it's probably because my neighbor, because I did answer.
So the other question, we just got one question in. How should college students be counted? We're trying to answer those from the chat. So how should college students be counted?
Great question. If the students are living in campus, the Census Bureau will contact that college, and they have, we will send people, and they have census ambassadors who will be counting everybody in campus. If you live outside the campus, make sure that you answer the census, going like 2020 census.gov and the internet, call, you go to 844,
there's 330-2020.
Exactly. And make sure that you count your roommate. Even if your roommate is visiting grandma in California or going for spring break, whatever, or please make sure you count all your roommates.
Okay. And just so you, the stats so far for Union County is 66.6%, New Jersey 64.7%, and Elizabeth 53.2%.
Yes.
It has increased, but Elizabeth is still lagging behind because it's one of those hard to count areas. So, it's very important. And Manny, you could just impress upon us again, and I think you did it in Spanish, so maybe you could speak in Portuguese this time, about the importance of really filling out the census and getting that information sent in. Oh, Manny's muted.
I think the best way to get the message out to the communities is very simple. If you fill out the census, then that means that the city of Elizabeth will have more funding for ambulances, fire trucks. And in this pandemic, the city of Elizabeth actually relied on ambulances from other states to come in and help us because we didn't have enough. La manera más fácil para convencer a la gente que llenando el censo es muy importante y toda la información es completamente confidencial. Uno tiene que olvidar lo que dice el presidente Trump, porque nada viene a su casa porque usted no está legal. Es importante que llene el censo, porque el número de la gente va a determinar, por ejemplo, si la ciudad de Elizabeth en vez de tener 12 ambulancias van a tener 14. Por ahora, de la gente toda que vive en Elizabeth, casi mitad no ha contestado el census. É muito importante que nós enchemos a aplicação do census. Por agora, só 50% da população é que encheram o census. E isso vai ser um problema porque quando nós precisamos da assistência, seja bombeiros, seja ambulância, seja hospital, especialmente nessa situação que estamos a passar, se nós não temos os fundos do governo federal ou do estado, vai ser muito mais difícil para a nossa cidade manter essa despesa sozinhos. So it's very important. We can't, as a city, support 160,000 people when the federal government only knows we have 80,000 people. So it's important that we get the number right. Yes. Thank you.
And Woody, if you could just give us a word, and if you could just, I know you speak Haitian Creole, so could you also give us a word in Haitian Creole as well?
Yes, sure I can. The main thing I'm gonna translate it in Creole, but most of the thing you guys mentioned, it's already translated in Creole to them. But for anyone who's listening or watching, so I wanna really, reinforcing the importance of filling out the census. So nous connaissons que chaque 10 ans que recensement 2021 est venu. Chaque 10 ans nous avons un recensement qui fait. So, c'est réellement important comme Haïtiens qui vivent dans le pays ou qui vivent dans Elisabeth que nous comptons dans le recensement ça. Parce que le recensement il affecte de toute façon. Il affecte l'immigration, il affecte force corps que l'État baille pour capable bailler aide dans l'école, pour bailler aide pour médiquer, pour bailler aide pour santé, pour joindre assistance dans tout niveau. nous encourageons tout le monde qui attendait, tout le monde qui a regardé message ça pour les qu'on recevoir information pour remplir recensement 2020 fait et li confidentiel, information pas prend la rue, pas gen moun k'ap voler information, si gen moun qui prend information et li partage li sans que li partage avec l'autre moun ça prend prison. Qui donc li réellement important comme moun k'ap vivre dans pays pour City Elizabeth capable continuer par assistance ou bien pour capable continuer jeune aide dans état New Jersey, li important que pour dire tout le monde à la one bad que pour yo remplir recensement ça faut parce que c'est forme ça qui permet état New Jersey recevoir assez fonds pour ba aide à nous-mêmes qui immigrants et m'encourager tout le monde pour faire message à passer que recensement 2020 pour nous faire.
Thank you so much, Woody. And we just wanted to let you know that the enumerators will be coming to knock on the doors. So if any non-response, there will be a follow-up. And this will start, correct me if I'm wrong, Maria, August 11, 2020. Yes. And we also had a comment from Mr. Darren Bryden. And he said, Elizabeth's self-response is ahead of all the top urban cities in New Jersey. We have neighborhoods who are below average based on the fears of the day. We need to let census people know, let them know census people will knock on their doors soon if they don't respond themselves. He says no one wants that, especially in COVID time. But yes, but if they do knock on your door, do not be afraid. There are 43 languages spoken, and we have them here listed. We're scrolling just a few of them with numbers. Again, remember that you're covered by Title 13, correct?
Yes.
Title 13. And we just want to thank everyone here on our broadcast for being with us. We just want to let them know where they can contact you if they need information. So if you need to speak to Mr. Woody Philippe, he's at www.jeffersonparks.com. If you want to connect with Valeria, she's at maketheroadnewjersey.org. And if you need to get from the census, you can go to 2020census.gov or www.census.gov. And if you need to connect with Mr. Manny Grover at the City of Elizabeth, you can go to elizabethnj.org. And if you need to connect, if you need housing assistance from the Elizabeth Coalition, you can contact us several ways. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can't see us now, but on most of our platforms, we're Elizabeth Coalition. We're located at 118 Division Street, Elizabeth, New Jersey. And our phone number is 908-355-2060. If you need housing assistance, please dial extension 301. And if you would like to donate, you can also visit our website, theelizabethcoalition.org, or if you would like to volunteer your services, you can also connect on our website to do that as well. And we want to remind you, please fill out the census. It's very important. We only have, it's every 10 years, it's very important. And Mr. Grover, if he's remember he reminded you that he was an attorney. So if you need attorney assistance, you can go to mgrover@lawfirm.ms. We just want to remind you to follow up with your family and friends and neighbors to make sure that they have completed the census and ensure that we have sufficient funding for our communities for the next 10 years. And thank you for listening. Come back again next time. We'll have new guests. And before we go, we want to leave you with this video about filling out the census. Thank you and take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
The census counts everyone in this country, and that really means everyone. A hospital patient, yes, that person counts. Two families that live in the same house, sure thing, they all count. Or David, who's living in his cousin Daniel's garage, he also counts. The census counts everyone to make things better for all of us.